The behavior of Democrats last night was completely disgraceful.
It's the most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days.
Disgraceful, and demonstrated how severely out of touch they are.
What just happened at Trump's address to Congress left Americans in shock. The reaction from Democrats wasn't just disrespectful, it was downright disgraceful. And now, Karoline Leavitt is calling them out like never before. As President Trump took the stage, delivering one of the most important speeches of his presidency, Republicans stood strong, cheering for his words. He spoke
Beautiful chamber. In what was supposed to be a unifying moment for our country, Democrat members of Congress instead screamed at the President of the United States, who was just overwhelmingly reelected by their constituents, walked out of the chamber, and worst of all, they disrespected the American beautiful child who is surviving brain cancer. They opposed eliminating taxes on tips and Social Security. They didn't stand in favor of cutting taxes for hardworking Americans. They couldn't even clap for two mothers whose daughters were killed by illegal aliens. One of the only things that could get Democrats off their feet last night was cheering for Ukraine, not for America. Last night was a very clarifying moment for our country. The Democrats exposed themselves as the party of insanity and
about America's economic revival, the border crisis, and his vision for the nation's future. But while Republicans applauded his leadership, Democrats sat there stone-faced, refusing to acknowledge even the most undeniable progress. The tension in the room was palpable. But things took an ugly turn when Trump introduced special guests, true American heroes who have sacrificed so much for this country. The audience erupted in applause, except for the Democrats who barely reacted. And then, in a shocking display of disrespect, some of them even walked out mid-speech. But here's where it gets even worse. When Trump honored a 13-year-old cancer survivor who was made an honorary Secret Service agent, Republicans stood up in admiration. The entire room
and won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
should have been united in that moment. But the Democrats? Silent. Unmoved. This disgraceful behavior didn't go unnoticed. Karoline Leavitt wasted no time in exposing them, calling out their hypocrisy on national television. They don't just hate Trump, she declared, they hate the values that make America great. Her words sent shockwaves through the media, igniting a firestorm of debate. And speaking of the media, mainstream outlets like CNN and MSNBC rushed to spin the narrative. But they couldn't silence the American people. Social media exploded, with polls and reactions overwhelmingly siding with Trump. People saw through the theatrics. They saw the Democrats' blatant disrespect. So now the question is, was this just political theater, or have Democrats...
The spirits were high. You can see we've got a standing ovation for everybody. Melania got a standing ovation. Donald Trump walked in high spirits. And he started his speech with this.
America is back. Six weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
America.
A real agenda. And more importantly, after this shameful display, will Americans ever trust them again? Let me know what you think in the comments.